We know that human species living in different continents show variations in terms of skin color, nose form, hair color, height, and other biochemical traits. In addition to such physical or biological variations, there is also variations in terms of language, culture, traditions, etc. So, human variations can be discussed from two main angles. One is cultural variation and the other is biological variations. Here, we will discuss on biological variations. Let us now have a glance at different human population groups of three major racial groups such as Mongoloid, Negroid, and Caucasoid, their salient characters and distribution. This is just to give a very tentative idea to the beginners about human science. General characteristics of the Mongoloid. Skin color of the Mongoloid ranges from light yellow to yellow-brown. Hair is straight, brown to black in color. Eye color is brown to dark brown with Mongoloid epicantic form. Medium to broad-faced, cheekbones are high and flat. High frequency of A1 blood type, A2 is usually absent, and the frequency of Rh negative is also very low. Negroids. They have in general brown to brown-black skin. Hair may be brown-black, coarse, curly to frizzly or woolly in form. Prognatism is very distinct. Relatively high frequency of A2 blood type and also B blood group is high among them. And Rh negative, however present, it is not as high as it is among the Caucasoids. Caucasoid. Skin color of the Caucasoid ranges from fair, light, reddish white to olive brown. Head hair may be light blonde to dark brown in color, fine to medium in texture, straight to wavy in form. Stature ranges from medium to tall and relatively high incidence of A2 blood type and Rh negative. Let us now see the different subtypes of these three Mongoloid, Negroid, and Caucasoid groups. First, let us see Mongoloid. The Mongoloids may be subdivided into four main subdivisions on the basis of geographical distributions, such as number one, Central Mongoloid, and also known as Classic, the Arctic or Northern Mongoloid, also known as Eskimoids, the Southern or Indo-Malayan, and number four, the American Indians. Let us see the Central Mongoloid. The people of Siberia, Northern China, Mongolia, Tibet represent the Central Mongoloid. Number two, the Arctic or Eskimoid. The Eskimoids are distributed in Northern Asia, the Arctic coast of Northern America, Greenland, Labrador, and Western Alaska. Number three, Indonesian Malay Mongoloids. A large number of Mongoloid peoples, most of whom show considerable Caucasoid elements and probably Negroid elements too. They are known as Indonesian Malay Mongoloids. Indonesian type, that is Negroid. The Negroids are a bit slender, below medium to medium in stature. They are distributed in Indonesia, Thailand, southern China, Indochina, Myanmar, the interior of Malay archipelago. The Malays possess brachycephalic head and mesorhinic nose. They are structurally taller and robust than the Negroids. They are distributed in southern China, Indochina, Myanmar, Thailand, Malay Peninsula, Dutch, East Indies, and the Philippines, and so also in Japan. Number four, the American Indians or the Amerindian. The Amerindians are predominantly Mongoloid with elements of Caucasoid and so also Negroids, as well as Australoid elements. They are distributed in different parts of North, Central, and South America. Northwest Coast American. The inhabitants of northwest coast of North America possess concave or straight nose, broad face, moderate height, with long arm and short trunk. A group of American living in Patagonia, Tierra del Fuego, who are known as Tehuilche, are very tall with brachycephalic head, square broad face, brownish skin color, and black hair. Now let us see Negroid. The Negroids are divisible into two main subdivisions. Number one, African Negro. Number two, Oceanic Negro. The African Negro is again subdivided into 5 subdivisions. They are true Negroes, Nilotic Negroes or Nilot, Bantu-speaking Negroid or Bantu, Bushman and Hottentot, and Negrilo. True Negroes. They are distributed in West Africa and Guinea coast. They are tall in general with dark brown or black skin, woolly hair, plaited hind nose, bulging forehead and prognathous face, everted lip and long arm. Nilotic Negro or Nilots. They are distributed in the region of Upper Nile Valley and Eastern Sudan. They are tall, slim figure, long limbs, dolichocephalic head, plaited hind nose, dark skin color, and woolly hair. Bantu or Bantu speakers. Bantu-speaking Negroids of Central and Southern Africa are known as the Bantu, Bushman, and Hottentot. Physically, Bushman and Hottentot are more or less the same people, but they are culturally different from one another. The Bushmen are more mainly confined in the Kalahari Desert. The Hottentots are found in Southwest Africa. Steatopygia, that is, immense deposit of fat in the buttocks, is seen very often among the women, more prominently among the Hottentots. Negrilos, also known as African pygmy. The Negrilos are very short in stature, about 4 feet and a half on average. They are represented by the inhabitants of equatorial forests of Congo region. Some examples are the Akka, Batoa, Barnbutte, etc. The Oceanic Negro. This subdivision of the Negroids includes the Negritos, Asiatic and Oceanic, Melanesians and Papuans. Negritos, the Andamanis of Andaman Islands, the Semans of Malay Peninsula and East Sumatra, the Eta of Philippine Island, and Tafiro of New Guinea are important representatives of the Negritos. Melanesians and Papuans. The Melanesians are distributed in the coastal parts of New Guinea and neighboring islands in Fiji, Admiralty Island, and New Caledonia, etc. The Papuans are distributed in New Guinea and other islands of Melanesia. The Caucasoids. The Caucasoids includes a wide range of diverse populations. An outline of the subdivisions of these groups may be given as below. Mediterranean. It refers to a number of people of Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Greece, Turkey, parts of North Africa, also in Arabia, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. Nordic. The Nordics are generally tall stature people with flourished or reddish white skin color. They are distributed to British Islands, Belgium, France, Northern Germany, Netherlands, Baltic region, and Scandinavia, also in various parts of Europe and United States and British colonies. Alpine. The Alpines are scattered throughout the Europe, more particularly in Central Europe, Norway, northern Italy, Denmark, the Balkans, and in the mountains of Asia Minor. The Alpines show a good deal of admixture with two other racial types, that is, Nordics and Mediterranean. East Baltic. Concentration of the group of people known as the East Baltic is seen in northern Germany, Poland, Baltic states, Russia, Finland, etc. Dinaric. The Dinaric are distributed in Dinaric Alps regions in Yugoslavia, Albania, Austria, and Central Europe. The Dinarics show in them some racial elements of Alpine, Armenoid, Nordic, and Atlanto-Mediterranean. Armenoid. The Armenoids are distributed in Turkey, Syria, Palestine, Iraq, Iran, and Balkan countries. Celtic. They are tall people of Iceland, Scotland, Wales, and England. They are also found in many parts of Western Europe. Lapps. The Lapps are distributed in northern Scandinavia, Sweden, northern Finland, Norway, and northwestern region of Russia. The Lapps may be taken as admixture between Mongoloid and Caucasoid. Indo-Dravidian. The Indo-Dravidians are medium-stature people with dark brown skin color. They are concentrated in South India, Central India. The Indo-Dravidians exhibit admixture of Caucasoid and Australoid elements. Polynesian. The Polynesians live in Polynesian islands of the Pacific, such as New Zealand, Friendly Islands, Samoa, Marquesas, Hawaii. They are a composite race, essentially white people mixed with Mongoloid and Negroid peoples. Ainu. The Ainus are found in northern Japan and South Sakhalin. They represent a very ancient stock of Japan. They are predominantly Caucasoid, but a considerable amount of Mongoloid admixture is seen among them. Australoid. The Australoid represents a group who are distinct from the Negro, Caucasoid, and Mongoloid. They live in Australia and considered to be the Aboriginal people of Australia. The Vedas of Ceylon and some tribes of South and Central India, the Kadir, Kurumba, Panyan, Airula, Bhil, Gon, Khon, and Oraon are identified as Australoids. Well, let us now look at the causes of this variation. It is through adaptations to different eco-niches that variations among human populations have come into being. Sources of variation, of course, is provided by genetics, and the environment selects the preferred type. Actually, the color of the skin is influenced by three pigments: keratin, that is yellow, and the other two pigments are much more significant. They are hemoglobin, that is red in the blood cells, and melanin. Of these pigments, only melanin absorbs ultraviolet light, that is the end of the spectrum causing radiation. So only can melanin protect the really harmful effect of solar radiation. In fact, sunlight, particularly ultraviolet radiation, plays an important physiological role in the stimulation of the production of vitamin D, necessary for normal bone growth and maintenance. Individuals with insufficient vitamin D often develop such growth defects as rickets. However, one potentially and extremely hazardous result of overexposure to ultraviolet solar radiation is skin cancer. In order to regulate or avoid from excess penetration of ultraviolet radiation, the body has to increase the production of melanin granules, which in turn results into dark in skin color. Body shape and size. Buckman's rule states the relationship of body mass to surface area. As body mass increases, the relative amount of surface area decreases proportionately. Plump object has lesser surface area in relation to its mass, whereas thin object has just the opposite of it, that is, greater surface area in relation to its mass. For example, if we take two lumps of iron of the same weight and one is flattened into a disc and other is made into a sphere, after heating them at the same temperature and allow them to cool them down, the flat one will definitely cool down faster as it has more surface area for dissipation of heat. The spherical one will remain hot for a longer period of time as it preserves heat due to less surface area. This is the reason why the Eskimos are stocky in physique while the Nilotes are lean and thin. Allen's rules involves the shape of the body, particularly the appendages in colder climates. Appendages should be short, thereby reducing the amount of surface area. In humans, this is seen as shorter arms and legs as in the Eskimos. Permanent human habitat settlement exists above 15,000 feet above measure sea level in Tibet and in Andes. They can be found at 17,500 feet and even higher. The natives of the Peruvian Andes have been found to have 30% more red blood cells than the populations at sea level. This is to enable the body to obtain required amount of oxygen from the atmosphere. In the process, inhalation of huge volume of air is a must, for which lungs need to enlarge. Along with the enlargement of lungs, thorax gets expanded. People living in high altitude, therefore, possess proportionately large thorax than the populations at sea level. Discussion on human variation cannot be complete only by consideration of the observable morphological and metrical traits. The following genetic markers have been chosen for quick discussions out of the numerous genetic traits so far studied. ABO blood group system. 4 main types of bloods such as A, B, AB and O are known to everybody. Although these 4 blood groups may be found together in human populations, they occur in different frequencies in different populations. Blood group A and B are believed to be absent from the Aboriginal Indian inhabitants of Central and South America, whereas some of the highest frequencies of blood group A have been reported from North American Indians, while B is absent from North American Indians and Australian Aborigines. Blood group A occurs in high frequency in parts of Europe and Asia, and also among the Aboriginal groups in Australia. The highest frequencies of blood group B are found in northern India and Central Asia. In 1953, studies conducted by Erard, Bendall and Roberts demonstrated a statistically significant association between blood group A and cancer of the stomach, and so also pernicious anemia. After a short while, a report on association between duodenal ulcer and O has also been reported. A study on ABO blood groups and smallpox in rural populations of Bihar and West Bengal by Vogel and Chakrabarty in 1966 shows that blood group A and AB are relatively disadvantageous when exposed to smallpox. Persons of blood group B and O, though they suffer from the disease, they suffer mildly in compared to those of A and AB persons. This is an example of selection of ABO blood group by environmental condition. Sickle cell trait occurs in high frequencies in malarial endemic areas in tropical Africa, India, Greece, and southern Turkey. The unusual circumstance responsible for hemoglobin polymorphism is believed to be malaria. The homozygotes of ISBS, that is sickle cell hemoglobin, almost never live to maturity. Thus, there is a constant loss of the allele ISB beta S. Normal homozygotes, that is normal hemoglobin, on the other hand, are likely to have infected easily by malaria. The heterozygotes are considered more resistant to malaria produced by Plasmodium falciparum. They neither die young as the harmful effect of hemoglobin S, that is sickle cell hemoglobin, is mild, nor affected badly by malaria. This supports the hypothesis of balanced polymorphism, that is heterozygote advantage of the ISB beta S allele. This is another example how a particular genotype is selected by environment. So to conclude, I may recapitulate that variation within a species is due to different geographic and other environmental conditions, and it is a natural phenomenon. Study on human variation should not misinterpret with the prejudiced concept of race and racism. Human variations can be explained from the point of adaptation to different environmental conditions, of which mention may be made of climate, altitude, disease, etc. Despite the circumstantial variations, genetic oneness of human beings concludes with the single species Homo sapiens. Variation implies different shades of the same color. This is true in the case of Homo sapiens.